Namaste. This is Dibakar Upadhyay, and in this video, I am going to introduce you to the new course of compulsory English for BBA and BBIS program at the Kathmandu University for first semester. So let's begin with the course title of this syllabus or the subject. The title of the course is English 1 for first semester, and you will have English 2 for the second semester. Okay. The course code for this subject is ENG 101, and the credit hours for this course is 3, as you can see. Let's read the course description and understand the salient features or characteristics of this course. So it says ENG 101 course with its focus on different literature genres. Let me highlight. So the first thing it says that in this course you will have content in different literary genres. What are they? There can be a poem in your course. There can be an essay in your course. There can be a story in this course, or there can be a play in this course. There can be a documentary in this course, visual documentary. There can be a movie in this course, or there can be, let's say, media in this course. Poem, play, essay, story, documentary, movie, or media. Then it says the texts can be from Nepal. I mean, there can be an essay or a poem that is about Nepal, or that is by Nepali diaspora or from Nepali diaspora. What does diaspora mean? Let's bing and see exactly what diaspora might mean. Just a few seconds. Okay. Let me share the screen for you. Yes. So as you can read here, it says diaspora refers to the spread of people from their original homeland. Hundreds of thousands of Nepalese people have gone to Australia. So you can say that there is a Nepali diaspora in Australia. So if a Nepali person living in Australia writes a piece of story or literature, let's say, and if we have that in our course, then we can say writing from the Australian diaspora. Nepalese living in Canada might write something, and we may study that will be writing from the Canadian diaspora. So what is diaspora? Dispersion or spread of people from their original homeland, right? And it says it is often used to describe the dispersion of the Jewish people originally from beyond Israel. The term originated in the Septuagint, in the phrase, let's leave that phrase, thou shalt be a dispersion in all kingdom of the earth. So diaspora is primarily spread of people away from their country of the origin. In general, diaspora refers to any group of people who have spread or been dispersed from their homeland. For example, it can be used to describe the diaspora of both people from Asia, or let's say Chinese people in America, Chinese diaspora. Okay, so let's come back to our curriculum and keep reading. So first it said the course will have writings in different genres like poem, essay, play, etc. Then it said that it will have writings from Nepal and Nepali diaspora, written by Nepali people not living inside Nepal but outside Nepal. Then it says, let's highlight the word diaspora, you should understand its meaning. Texts inclined to business world. There can be writings with a theme of business. For example, let's browse and see which text may have this idea. Okay, business world. For example, propaganda technique in today's advertising by Anne McClintock may be said to relate business world because it talks about how advertising misleads us. Then the blue collar millionaire. It's also about business world. This is a story of a business person and his growth. Then you have another text from business world. Women's entrepreneurship and culture, gender role expectations and identities, societal culture, and the entrepreneurial environment. This is a research paper about business. Then someone is stealing your life is also about work and business environment. How when you work, you get exploited. Then, uh, mm, okay. A day in the life of salaryman also you can say relates to business. Then, will big business finally reckon with the climate crisis? You have the theme of business. Then turn your COVID-19 solution into a viable business. Another text with the theme of business. 17 pandemic innovations that are here to stay. Another article or let's say text on business. So these are some of the writings with the theme of business. So there will be essays and other writings related to the theme of business. Then academic writing. What is academic writing? Let's again Bing and read what the phrase academic writing means. Just a minute. Okay. So let me. So it says academic writing is a formal style of writing. So academic writing is a way we write, and it is formal. That means written in formal settings. It is a formal style of writing used in universities. So the kind of writing that you will do now during your studies at Kathmandu University as part of your studies, that is academic writing. It is a writing used for scholarly publications. When you publish a research article or a dissertation or thesis, you do academic writing. It is a way of communicating ideas. You communicate ideas to a scholarly community, to communicate ideas, information, research to the wider academic community. Academic writing is done in academic community, and academic community means the community at the university. Academic writing is characterized by its formal and unbiased tone. It is not subjective, it is objective in nature. It is clear, it is precise, and well-structured content. It has well-structured, there are rigid rules about writing. Academic writing has rules to follow. Then academic writing follows the same writing process as other types of text, but it has specific conventions in terms of content, structure, and style. There are rules about what kind of ideas can go in academic writing. There are rules about structure. There are rules about style. For example, there is something, a book called MLA Guide, Style Guide. MLA Style Guide gives clear instruction about how to organize a piece of essay, for example, how to organize a term paper, for example, how to organize a research paper, for example, how to organize a research article, for example. Okay. You will encounter academic writing in journal articles and books on academic topics. For example, in your course, as I read earlier, there are a couple of research articles in your course. As we read those articles, we'll be more familiar with the nature of academic writing. And you will be expected to write your essays, research papers, and dissertation in academic style. Academic writing is not personal or emotive. Not very true, because these days there can be ethnographic research articles, and ethnographic research articles tell stories about the researchers, and they can be personal. Academic writing can be personal or emotive. Instead, it aims to convey information in an impartial way, objective way. The goal is to base arguments on the evidence under consideration. So the most important thing about academic writing is that academic writing most often uses argumentative writing, where you make a statement or claim, then offer credible reasons to support the claim, and then offer evidences to back up the reasons. So academic writing is primarily argumentative. It offers credible reasons and evidences to convince the readers. All claims should be supported with relevant evidence, not just asserted. Okay, that's all about what academic writing is. Let's come back to our curriculum and keep reading. So in this course, you will study texts on academic writing. Aims to offer interesting spaces for critical and creative reception of text. So the writings you have in this course, they are creative as well as critical. And it says that critical reception of text. Okay, let's again ask, what does critical reading mean? When we read a text critically, what do we mean by reading something critically? Okay, let's read and understand what critical reading might mean. It says critical reading is a process of analyzing a text to understand its meaning. So reading a text, analyzing a text to understand its meaning and to assess its argument. So critical reading is analyzing and evaluating how well the text is written and how well the writer can argue. So critical reading involves reading a text closely, word by word, phrase by phrase, sentence by sentence, and carefully asking questions about the author's intention, are saying what does the writer mean say, what does he want to say, what is his intention, the text structure and purpose, asking questions on the intended meaning, structure and purpose of the text, and the meaning of individual words and phrases. Critical reading is not just about understanding the text, but also about evaluating how well the text is written. Critical reading requires you to assess the text strengths and weaknesses. So critical reading is evaluating the strengths of the writing or text and weaknesses of the text to identify any biases or assumptions and to consider how the text relates to other texts on the same topic, comparing one text with another text. Critical reading is an essential skill for academic writing. It helps you to engage with text in a more meaningful way, to develop your own ideas and arguments, and to write more effectively. Here are some examples of critical reading strategies that you can use when analyzing a text. So when you say you want to read a text critically, or when you say you are reading a text critically, what do? One, you make inference, you infer. What is inferring? Reading between the lines to identify implicit messages and biases. So inferring is trying to understand what the text is saying indirectly, what the text says, and what the text actually means. When you talk to someone, you say, oh, I know what you mean, and what you say. What you say is not the same what you mean, and what you mean is not the same what you say. So critical reading is understanding what someone means, not what someone is saying. Inferencing, reading between the lines, reading, understanding what is not written there, but what is being suggested, what you can understand, though not said in explicitly. Then critical reading is claiming and counterclaiming, itemizing each claim and how they work, don't work together in a specific text. For example, when you read a text critically, you note down the claims, assertions. What is the writer trying to claim or assert? What reasons is the author offering to support the claim? What evidence is the author offering to back up the reason? And once you understand the writer's claim, then you come up with the counterclaim and you ask, does this author answer my counterclaim? Does this writer respond to my objections? You raise questions to what the writer is saying, and you check if the author is answering your questions in the piece of writing. That is claim and counterclaim. Okay, journaling, reflecting on both the text and the process of evaluating the text while or after reading. So critical reading is you read and you reflect on the process of the text writing, how the text has been written, right? You read, You read and also reflect on how the text has been written. Marking the text. As you read critically, you take your pen or pencil or highlighter and you highlight anything in the text that seems important to you, or you underline something that is important to you, or you put a circle around a word or phrase or expression that you like for a reason, or you mark out something in the text that you feel is important. Then rereading. Critical reading is reading twice, thrice. Critical reading is not just reading once. You read 2 times, 3 times, as much as necessary. You read again and again. Each time you read the text, you have a deeper understanding. Critical reading is adjusting reading rate, slowing down or speeding up your reading pace depending on the complexity of the text. Monitoring understanding, checking your comprehension of the text as you read. As you read, you check whether you're understanding or not. SPK, stop, paraphrase, and question. You read and you stop at a point, then you paraphrase what you read in your mind, then you ask questions about what you read. So read, paraphrase, and ask questions about what you just read. The contrarian, viewing the text from a specific perspective other than your own. For example, read the text as a student, read the text as a teacher, read the text as a mother, read the text as a father, read the text as a soldier, read the text as a businessman, read the text as a poet. Imagine a position or perspective other than the text has and read it, right? The contrarian reading, we sometimes call it reading against the grain, viewing the text from a specific perspective other than your own, often the opposite of your beliefs, opinion, or perspective. Suppose a text is written by a Nepali author, then read it as an Indian reader, read it as a Chinese reader, what meanings might appear. Then critical lenses, reading a text while seeing that text through a specific concept or category, reading a text as a feminist, reading a text as a Marxist, right? Reading a text as a psychologist, psychiatrist, right? Reading a text while seeing that text through a specific concept or category, including socioeconomic perspective, historical perspective, gender perspective, racial perspective, sexual perspective. For example, you can read a text as a male, you can read a text as a female, you can read a text as somebody from third gender, and other concepts or realities. This can help uncover bias, create new meaning previously inaccessible to the reader, and perhaps most importantly, help the reader understand the subjectivity of reading and how much of an impact our own bias have on our understanding and both text we read and the world around us. So look how the Bing helps us. We can use this technology and internet to understand something that we are reading. So we read about what is critical reading. There are, let me come back to the syllabus. There are 4 things you can do when you read a text, for example, this very syllabus. 1, you read to understand. You read to understand. Second, you read to interpret the meaning that is not given directly. What does the text suggest? What does the text say indirectly? Then third, you read to raise critical questions, as you read earlier. Critical reading, agreeing with the author, disagreeing with the author, checking where the author is correct, where the author is incorrect, seeing which claims of the author you agree, which claims with the author you disagree, seeing how well the author is making his or her argument in the text, seeing if the author is responding to my possible objections, reading the text from various perspectives, critical reading. Then fourth is closing the text and then asking, what did I understand after reading the text about the world? How has reading this text helped me understand my world differently? How has reading this text given me a new understanding of the world? What lessons of life am I taking from this text? How has reading this text helped me understand my life in a new way? What is there in this text that I can apply in my day-to-day life? What moral lesson, if any, do I get from reading the text? That is called assimilation. I repeat, literal comprehension, interpretation, critical reading, and assimilation. These are the four levels of interacting with a text, or four levels of responding to a text. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's highlight uh, critical and creative reception of the text. What can be creative reception of the text? Let's ask. What does creative reception of a text mean? Earlier we read about critical reception. Let's try to understand what creative reception of a text might mean. Okay. Creative reception of a text is a concept that emphasizes the reader's interpretation of literary text in making meaning from it. So creative reception means you read a text, then you interpret its meaning, and you make its meaning, you understand its meaning. Creative reception involves taking into account the subjective models, paradigms, beliefs, and values of the reader as they read and the text. So what is my beliefs as a reader? What are my values as a reader? What are my ways of reading? What are my techniques of reading? What are my subjective ways of reading, models of reading? As the reader reads, a transformation of the literary text takes place according to their sensitivity and experience. So as we read, we bring our subjectivity to the text, we bring our personal knowledge and experience to the text, and this affects the meaning of the text. Creative reception is an important aspect of literary theory and criticism. It recognizes that readers bring their own experiences and perspectives to a text. So as we read, we bring our experience, our perspective, our cultural background, linguistic background, ethnic background to the reading, which can influence their interpretation of the text. This means that different readers can have different interpretations of the same text. See, the same poem, if read by different people, can have different meaning, and that these interpretations can be equally valid. There is no one final meaning of any text. Creative reception is also related to the concept of reader response theory. Reader response theory says that readers make meaning, not the writer, not the text. When you read, the process of reading, you create meaning. And that meaning that you make is individual and affected by your psychology. The meaning is affected by your prior knowledge. The meaning is affected by your prior experience. The meaning is affected by your ethnic background, your beliefs and values. So, uh, Just a minute. Creative reception is an important aspect of literary theory and criticism. It recognizes that readers bring their own experiences and perspectives to a text, which can influence their interpretation of it. This means that different readers can have different interpretations of the same text, and that these interpretations can be equally valid. Creative reception is also related to the concept of response theory, which emphasizes the role of the reader in interpreting a text. Response theory suggests that meaning is not inherent in a text, but meaning is created by the reader in the act of reading. Meaning emerges as you read, it's not given there, it's the reader who makes the meaning. That is what creative reception of a text means. Creative reception means reading and making the meaning while you read. Critical reception of the text means reading and seeing how well the author is arguing. So you can see this course is also hinting you on the importance of how we read, reading as technique. And then it says there are various themes. Means there are writings on various subjects. Alongside, it aims to broaden students' horizons related to language and modes of communication. So you will have a better understanding of how language is used in different genres of writing and how ideas are communicated in different genres of writing. So let's highlight. You will learn about language as well as modes of communication. Let's again ask Bing, what are the different modes of communication? Okay, so it says that there are several modes of communication, and each mode of communication has its own characteristics and uses. Some examples are verbal communication, and verbal communication involves uh, use of words. Right now, I'm verbally communicating to you, although you can say this is digital communication because this is reaching you through my YouTube channel and this recording. So verbal communication has body language, as you can see, my gestures of the hand, facial expressions as I'm smiling as I'm reading it, and other non-verbal cues to convey a message. There are words and gestures. It can be used to emphasize or reinforce verbal communication. Then written communication, right? This mode of communication involves the use of written words to convey a message. I can text you, I can mail you. It can be in the form of email, letters, memos, reports, and other written documents. Visual communication. This mode of communication involves the use of visual aids. Right now, this is screen. You can see this MSN screen. This is visual. You have pictures. Use of visual aids such as graphs, charts, diagrams, videos to convey a message. It can be used to simplify complex information and make it easier to understand. Interpersonal communication. This mode of communication involves the exchange of information between two or more people in a face-to-face setting. It can be either formal or informal. Group communication. This mode of communication involves the exchange